Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, the student shot at Victoria College is now home, but the suspect or suspects remain on the run.
Authorities on the lookout for a suspect in Jackson County. The details on his charges this evening.
And police in the Houston area say a fake priest is stealing money from churches.
Well, things cleared out very nicely. Had a beautiful day. In fact, we've got sunny and mild weather for at least 4 or 5 days, so get out there and enjoy it. There is another cold front on the horizon. We'll be talking about that coming up in just a minute.
And the Ganado Indians are facing off against an undefeated foe in the area round of playoffs. We hear from the head coach in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia. A 30-year-old Victoria College student remains in the hospital following a shooting last night on campus. It happened right around 7 p.m. at the Continuing Education Center, during which students, staff, and instructors had to shelter in place until close to around 9 p.m. At last, the suspect or suspects remained on the run. And now here is a timeline of events from last night. Police say the shooting happened around 7 p.m. Victoria College first alerted students at 7:30, saying there was an emergency on the main campus and to lock doors and remain inside until further notice. 25 minutes later, Victoria College confirmed shots were fired at the Continuing Education Center. They alerted students and staff to avoid the area and remain sheltered in place.
At 8:45 p.m., VC confirmed there was one gunshot victim who was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, and the suspect was on the loose. The Victoria Police Department was releasing people in the building by escorting them to their vehicles. At 9:50 p.m., VC canceled classes for Tuesday and reminded students and employees that counseling was available starting Wednesday. This afternoon, Victoria College President Jennifer Kent released a statement at a news conference. 25
News Now reporter Adarius McCormick was there and has more.
That's right, you guys. Dr. Kent shared the campus's response to the shooting and where the investigation stands currently. Dr. Kent reassured the campus community about the school's priority on safety. Some community members were concerned with the school's response. However, Dr. Kent applauded the school's safety protocols and law enforcement.
I'm so thankful to our campus security team because as soon as they noticed that there was an incident and heard gunfire, one swipe of that card, that security badge, was able to lock down the entire campus.
Dr. Kent and VPD say the situation was an isolated incident, so classes will resume tomorrow. The campus will have extra security and law enforcement. Staff and students will have access to mental health services as needed. Dr. Kent says they do not believe the suspect was a student, but they do believe the victim and suspect know each other. Karina, back to you.
Adarius, thank you. Here is your viewer poll this evening. You can scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. The question is, are you satisfied with how VC handled Monday night's shooting incident? Yes or no? We take a look at our results and it looks like 92% stand at yes and 8% stand at no. We want to hear your opinion. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. And of course, we're going to have an update on 25 News Now at 10.
The Jackson County Sheriff's Office is asking for help in finding or information leading to the arrest of 33-year-old Cody Wade Presley. He is 6'2" tall, 185 pounds, and is from the Lolita and LaWard area. Presley has several felony warrants, including theft and smuggling of firearms. If you see or know the whereabouts of Cody Wade Presley, you can contact the Jackson County Sheriff's Office 361-782-3541.
And now let's take a look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Bettis.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. What a difference from the weekend, right? Today, plenty of sunshine, higher pressure, drier air gave us a couple of, actually, we got about 4 or 5 really good days coming up. But you know me, I'm looking out at the West Coast waiting for the next storm. Should be here early next week. So we'll be talking about that coming up in just a moment. Back to you.
The suspect accused of firing shots during a fatal flea market shooting in Pearland turned himself in today. KPRC reports 19-year-old David Negrete was booked into the Brazoria County Jail around 10 a.m. 10-year-old Francisco Durante was killed in the shooting. Juliana Espino and Cruz Meza, both 18, were arrested on Monday in connection to the shooting. They were charged with tampering with physical evidence and making false statements to a peace officer. The Texas Department of Criminal Justice announced the death of an officer Tuesday. 27-year-old Jovan Motley died while serving at the Wainwright unit in Houston County. He was helping other officers in restraining an inmate at the prison when he died. No further details have been released.
The funeral for Jorge Pastor, the Austin police SWAT officer who was shot and killed this past weekend, will take place Friday. The Austin American-Statesman reports Pastor was among 4 people who died in a hostage standoff at a South Austin home early Saturday. It marked the first time in more than a decade that an Austin police officer has been killed in a line-of-duty shooting. The assailant and 2 people inside the home also died. A Houston teenager, 17-year-old Luis Alfredo Mencias Escobar, is accused of smuggling several migrants, including leading police on a chase and smashing into an oncoming vehicle before his death on a South Texas highway last week. 8 people, including a couple in their late 60s from Georgia, died due to the wreck near Batesville. That's about 80 miles southwest of San Antonio. Mencias Escobar was driving a 2009 Honda Civic and reportedly tried to outrun Zavala County Sheriff's deputies.
The Texas House gave first approval Tuesday to a bill that would send $1.5 billion to continue construction of the border wall. KXAN reports Senate Bill 3 would allow more funding for the construction of the wall at the Texas-Mexico border. The bill will have to clear again in the House for a 3rd procedural vote on another day. Then it will need approval again from the Senate with the new amendment. Now, illegal border crossings from Mexico fell 14% in October from a month earlier. U.S. authorities say that ends a 3-month streak of big increases. Arrest of Venezuelans also plummeted to 45% in 1 month. But arrest of Chinese people rose slightly, with 99% of them in the San Diego area.
The San Antonio ISD Board voted Monday night to close 15 schools and merge 3 others. The Board of Trustees voted 5-2 to shut over 15% of the already shrinking urban educational facilities. The school closure recommendations came after analyzing student enrollment at each school and how much it would cost to sustain them. Many parents and teachers protested the idea and referenced the impact of previous closures on academic achievement. Churchgoers in Houston are being warned about a fake priest.
Yeah, they say this person is apparently stealing cash from church buildings.
People coming to get closer to God, concerned tonight that a man authorities are calling a fake priest infiltrated this church.
I don't have words for that. Trying to impersonate someone.
Parishioners tell us they were recently alerted to the crime, which happened on October 27th.
It's sad. You would wish that didn't happen.
Today we learn new details about what happened from Houston police. They say the man seen in these surveillance images claimed to be Father Martin, a visiting priest from Chicago. He said he left his keys in the priest's residence and bluffed his way past a church staffer. Once inside, police say he stole cash from the rooms of the rectory. In all, they say he was on the church grounds for 30 minutes before leaving a vehicle he left parked nearby. This week, the Archdiocese of Galveston-Houston shared this memo with its members, a security alert concerned this imposter priest could try to hit other churches. They say he's on the radar of Dallas police and has warrants out of California and Pennsylvania. Tonight, those here at St. Thomas More are on the lookout and praying for the man accused of victimizing this church.
People don't always make the best choices, and certainly hope that they could turn around choices they're making.
2 people are accused separately of threatening federal judges in Texas. 67-year-old Alice Marie Pence of Port Charlotte, Florida, is facing 2 federal charges with making a threatening phone call to a judge in Amarillo. Federal prosecutors also say 44-year-old Daniel Ray Garcia sent threatening letters to a federal judge in Lubbock. The first charges may relate to a judge who has made rulings on an abortion drug. A Burnett County District Judge ruled Tuesday that the Ken Paxton whistleblowers case can proceed in Travis County, while Paxton's legal challenge to the lawsuit remains pending. KPRC reports the ruling came a week after Judge Evan Stubbs temporarily stopped the whistleblower lawsuit at the request of Paxton's office. The office argued the whistleblowers were violating a tentative settlement they reached earlier this year. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Then you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. Stay with us. One Texas teacher takes her kids to Mexico. Coming up on 25 News Now at 6, how this mock trip made her the best teacher ever.
Also ahead, find out how you can give back in Victoria during this holiday season.
For more than a decade, meteorologist Trey Mining has served as your trusted face at 25 News Now First Warn Storm Team. But now, he faces a different kind of storm.
So I saw a neurologist here in town, and he says, I think it's Parkinson's possibly, but I'm not sure.
Join anchor Carolina Estrain as she presents Trey's Story, a 25 News Now Extra, this Thursday night at 10. Sometimes the bravest forecasts aren't about the weather.
Texas A&M University System Chancellor John Sharp will recommend that the Board of Regents name interim President Mark Welsh as the sole finalist for the position. The Texas Tribune reports Sharp named Welsh the acting president in late July after former President Kathy Banks, who had served as president for 2 years, resigned. The A&M Board of Regents will hold a special meeting Friday morning to discuss whether to officially name Welsh the sole finalist.
A Texas teacher is being praised for the incredible creative mock trip to Mexico she arranged for her first grade class.
Now, the students may have had a fun pretend trip, but now the teacher is getting a real one.
It's the next best thing to going there.
Come along with first grade to Mexico. Here we're taking passport pictures. I'm going to laminate some boarding passes.
Texas teacher Sonia White staged a mock trip to Mexico for her students.
I'm going to change my classroom into an airplane.
The first graders at Trinity Leadership School flew Southwest Airlines.
Where are you going?
Mexico. With their carry-on luggage and even neck pillows.
So now I'm a TSA agent.
A video of takeoff set the mood. Their teacher transformed into a flight attendant.
Apple juice.
After an apparently bumpy landing, look at this kid's face. They arrived in Mexico.
They are going through customs. I am now a customs agent.
The trip went viral and got rave reviews. Best teacher ever. Invited on the Jennifer Hudson Show, Miss White explained she got the idea after asking the kids.
What's something that you wish you have done but you have not done yet? And the majority of them said catch a flight, go on an airplane.
Next thing you know, Southwest invited the entire first grade to tour a real airplane.
I heard we're going to Mexico.
The kids climbed aboard, they built model planes, got a pep talk from a female pilot, examined the flight safety card while snacking, and then, surprise, their teachers and principal each got 2 free round-trip tickets to anywhere Southwest flies, including Mexico. The airline also donated $10,000 to the school. In only her second year as a teacher, Sonia White is flying high.
Did you have fun in Mexico?
Jeannie Mose, CNN, New York.
Oh, that's really cute. And back here in Victoria, food is always needed, specifically around the holidays.
That's why Victoria Christian Assistance Ministries, or VCAM, needs your help. to make their food drive a success. Lori McVeigh, operations manager for VCAM, says their annual holiday season food drive donations are running low right now, and the need only continues to grow.
We're running low on food, and whatever you donate would be very appreciated. Thank you very much.
VCAM gives out around 100 boxes of food daily to those in need. So for more information and location details, visit us at crossroadstoday.com.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's 65 degrees. Had a beautiful day, you must admit. I mean, after all that sloppy stuff. But you know, the rain was great. We got about 4 inches total in all those, dreary days. And 4 inches really made a dent, and we didn't have any flooding problems. 65 right now. We managed to get up to 74 today, which is right on the money. That's where we're supposed to be for this time of year. Obviously, we didn't have any rain today, but for the month, now we're at 2.92. So we cut the deficit by almost 2.5 inches. So we're doing better. We're doing better. But after these 5 days of gorgeous weather, we got another front. We'll be talking about that coming up in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Detective Kelly Gibbs with the Victoria Police Department. Victoria Crime Stoppers is requesting information regarding a murder. On November 4th, 2018, at approximately 3:15 a.m., 24-year-old Joshua Williams was murdered inside a home at the 1900 block of East Guadalupe Street. If you have any information about this murder, submit a tip to the Victoria Crime Stoppers at 361-572-4200. Tips can also be submitted via the P3 Tip app or via our website, www.crimestoppersvictoria.com. All tips are anonymous, and if you give information that leads to arrest or charges being filed, you could earn a cash reward. With the Victoria Police Department, I'm Detective Kelly Gibbs.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm sure you enjoyed the day. Lots of nice sunshine and dry weather finally. As you can see on our map, the skies are clear over the state. All the rain is pushed into Louisiana. We do have some high clouds out in West Texas, but no major problems. In fact, for almost five days, we've got some gorgeous weather. Now, here's Future Tracker. We go from Tuesday into Wednesday, and you can see how that rain just keeps rolling that way. We're going to keep getting a north wind. That's why our temperatures will stay in the very pleasant 70s and, when the sun comes out, we usually hit 90 here, but not this time. That northerly wind will keep the temperatures under control, and you'll get plenty of dry weather and sunshine if you need to get anything done. I'm looking out at the Pacific, okay, once again, because I got to look at what's coming up next. Well, out here we have a huge gale, G-A-L-E. This is a very powerful ocean storm that this is spinning up waves that are 25 feet, you can imagine. Now, the question is when and where does it come ashore? Because this isn't like those big hurricanes of snow that we had not too long ago. Well, this is going to be that one, and I'm thinking that it's really going to be dropping south and then getting caught up in the winds and affecting us eventually. So here's what Future Tracker has to say. This is the rain today that was pulling away. We've got high pressure for a couple of days, and then by the time we get to the weekend, you see how it jumps over the Rockies and rolls down into Texas. So that's our next front, probably Monday night of next week. So we're going to get back to the drizzly stuff, the windy stuff, and the cooler weather as well. But we're going to have to wait for that storm to just come over. It's not going to be as powerful, which is good. It's going to weaken a little bit before it does move ashore, but it's going to be a big one for the West Coast. Got to show you some video. This is in Iceland. I was telling you about all the volcanic eruptions that are about to take place. These are the streets. Yeah. The streets are cracking up. The little town has been evacuated. Everybody's leaving, taking their stuff, because they don't know if it's going to be there when they come back. There's very likely that there'll be an eruption of a volcano from under the city any day now. It could be tonight, it could be tomorrow, next week, because the magma is now less, believe, than a quarter mile down below. So in other words, the hot molten magma is coming up, and once it explodes, it's going to go through all of this. So Iceland is under the gun for all of that. Overnight, 52 tonight. We'll get up to 72 tomorrow. So we've got some pretty good looking weather for the next couple of days. For those of you in Port Lavaca, look at this, 56 in the morning, but 73 in the afternoon with lots of sunshine. You see, sunny, sunny, sunny. And then for those of you in Cuero, we've got 52 in the morning, getting up to 73. We've got clear skies and sunny days all day long. The extended outlook is giving you an idea of how pleasant it's going to be. 72, 74, 76, 75. Even Sunday looks pretty good for anything you need to do. But then it's Monday when the showers start arriving. By late on Monday night, it is a frontal system and will be about 15 degrees cooler by the time we get to Tuesday and Wednesday. That is your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Karina.
Yeah, I tell you what, Karina, that video Mac just showed you is an amazing video there from Iceland with the earthquake happening. Can you imagine if you're driving along on a road like that, all of a sudden, whoa, I think we got to make a U-turn there. That's unbelievable video.
Yeah, incredible footage too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Don. Thank you, Mac. And now let's toss it to sports with sports director Gina Perez.
Thanks, Karina. We see where the Texans fall after 10 weeks of football in the NFL season. That's coming up after the break. At Crossroads, the Ganado Indians are in the playoffs for the 5th straight season and back-to-back under the leadership of head coach Josh Irvin. Last week, the win over the Cougars put the Indians at 9 wins, and this is the second time in a row that the Indians have had a 9-win season. Ganado will look to improve upon that against the Mason Punchers. Indians head coach Irvin said this team plays with a chip on their shoulder and is young but confident, and talks about what they are going to have to do to come out with a victory this week.
We're going to have to put together a full game. We're going to have to play really good run defense. Offensively, we're going to have to find a way to move the ball, create big plays, score points, and then special teams has to be the X factor that it has been the majority of the year for us in all the phases of the special teams.
The 9-2 Indians have a tough matchup against the undefeated Mason Punchers. These two teams are nearly identical on both the offensive and defensive sides of the ball. The Ganado Indians and Mason Punchers have given up an average of just over 12 points per game, and both offenses have averaged 40 points per game. We will see how the game shakes up in San Marcos at Rattler Stadium on Friday at 7 o'clock. Well, the Dallas Cowboys are losing its second defensive player to injury this season. Cowboys linebacker Leighton Vander Esch will be out the remainder of the year after a neck injury. The middle linebacker was supposed to come back this week after hurting his neck back in October against the San Francisco 49ers, but currently Vander Esch sits with 35 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and 2 QB pressures, and a fumble recovery for a touchdown. With a history of neck injuries, his career is now in question. Speaking of injuries, the Buffalo Bills safety who had cardiac arrest after a big hit made a comeback in the Bills game last night. Hamlin made a tackle which came in a pretty big spot because it caused the Broncos to use one of its timeouts, and ultimately it wouldn't matter because the Buffalo Bills would have 12 men on the field after the Broncos missed a field goal. Then it would make it for the win. Final score 24-22, Broncos win. Well, with the Buffalo's loss last night, and if the playoffs were to start today, the Houston Texans would be in the playoffs. This past weekend was very beneficial for the Texans because many teams lost that are in the playoff hunt, including the Bills, Ravens, Jaguars, Bengals, and Chargers. As it sits right now in the AFC picture, the Kansas City Chiefs are the #1 seed, followed by the Baltimore Ravens, Jacksonville Jaguars at 3, Miami Dolphins at 4, respectively, which are all leaders in their division. Meanwhile, the Texans season is looking up after going 3-13-1 last year and seemingly found its head coach in DeMeco Ryans and quarterback C.J. Stroud. Also, don't forget, this is the final week for CFL, and we will have highlights and scores for all the games starting on Thursday and Friday, and even Saturday for West. And the schedule for all the matchups this week is on our website at crossroadstoday.com. Well, that's your sports. Don and Karina, back to you.
CFL's over already. I can't believe it went by so fast.
And I can't believe the Texans are in line for a playoff spot after they were the second worst team last year.
Something to look forward to. That's right. We're back in a moment. Body cam video shows the moment Florida deputies were called to remove an alligator from a hotel bathtub.
Finally tonight, gator in the bathtub. Authorities have released body cam video showing the moment Florida deputies were called to remove an alligator from someone's bathtub back in September. Officials say a 25-year-old woman was sighted months ago after Florida Fish and Wildlife officials said she was caught keeping an alligator in a bathtub at the Grove Resort and Water Park. Officials said the woman told them she was just borrowing the reptile from Croc Encounters in Tampa. The good news is that it looks like a baby.
It's a baby,
Baby crocodile was returned to that place, and the crocodile is doing fine. As for the woman that took I don't know.
Borrowing.
Borrowing a croc. Yes.
Okay, let me borrow this alligator.
Yes. And
You
it
may
looks
borrow one of those fingers if you get too close.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. You know, I kind of feel like we were borrowing the sun today because we hadn't seen it in so long.
I had been since last Thursday. It was good. I hope you enjoyed it. Lots of sun expected for the next 4 days. In fact, the weekend's looking terrific. The temperature staying in the mid-70s, but it's next Monday night when the next frontal system comes through, and it looks like it'll give us another chill for Tuesday, Wednesday of next week.
All right. Thank you, Mac, and thanks for joining us.
We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 10.